All right, welcome in. I see people are still trying to connect. We have a great presentation for you today. I'm going to let everybody properly load in and connect to the presentation. We have a great one for you today, so just another few moments. I appreciate all your patience. Feel free to use the chat whenever you'd like. Hope everybody's having a good start to their day. Here we go. I see people funneling in now. Perfect. Just another minute or so. We'll try to hit 12, maybe 12:01, depending on how
Gotcha.
people funnel in. Just another moment here. All right, that should be enough time. Let's get started. Hello,
Okay.
everyone. My name is William Mucker. I'm a client executive with Camaplan and would like to thank you all for joining us for today's webinar, Transforming Private Lending for Private Lending for Private Lending Investors and Borrowers with Scott Whaley, founder of MyBestLoanMatch.com and former president of the National RIA. As a quick note, please be aware that we'll be answering questions, so feel free to use chat and/or Q&A functions on your screen to pose your questions whenever they cross your mind. Before we get started, we do have a brief disclosure to go through. Everything presented in today's webinar is strictly for educational purposes. Camaplan is a neutral third-party administrator of IRAs. We are not attorneys, CPAs, or financial advisors. If it comes to a time when you need advice in any one of those fields, we highly recommend you consult with your team of professionals. We are more than happy to be a part of the dialogue with your team of professionals to make sure the investment process is quick and seamless. We do not sell any investments at Camaplan, nor do we endorse any products. We will never call you about the next best investment opportunity. We believe that you should always do your own due diligence before investing your money, whether it be retirement funds or otherwise. Once you have found the investment that is right for you, we will help you open your account, fund that account, and facilitate the transaction into that investment. Here is my contact information if you or anyone you know who you believe can benefit from the information have any questions about what is discussed in the presentation and how it applies to self-direction, please do not hesitate to contact me. I will be more than happy to help. And without further ado, I will pass the controls over to you, Scott.
Thanks, Bill. Or is it William or Bill? I don't know.
Will, William, Bill, whatever you like.
Now's the time. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to hit share my screen here,
Perfect.
and then I will, oh, back to me, and then I will hit PowerPoint, and we should be good to go. Play from start.
Perfect. All
Does it
right.
look
You
good?
want I would say swap displays at the top of that screen that shows the displays.
Oh, swap displays. Okay.
Yep. There you go. How's that look?
I've got a partial because I've got the slides all laying out in the bottom, so it doesn't look like it's a normal. Uh,
Oh, okay. So, what
sorry for
I
not.
would, oh, that's okay. I would stop your share real quick, hit stop
Okay.
share. And then when you go back to share, instead of selecting a screen, I would select Windows and select the actual PowerPoint option.
Okay.
And
Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay.
all right. And now try clicking use slideshow. I think that would um do it that. It would do
Where's
that.
your slideshow? I don't see it on my screen.
Yeah, I think it's showing presentation mode. Um
Okay,
try
well, if you guys are seeing my screen, then we're good to go then, right? You're seeing it?
I see the presentation mode. So sorry about this. I would ask that you um hmm, what is
Isn't it
this?
supposed to be in presentation mode?
It's presentation mode is for when you have multiple screens, and it looks like it's casting your screen to this one. Sorry about this.
No worries.
Can you hover your mouse until it hover your mouse a little bit to the side and up and see if it comes onto the screen that you're sharing? Hmm. All
You're,
right.
you're not seeing my screen?
We see the slides. I guess this works. I think this works fine. It just shows all of the slides at once, including the presentation slide. Um,
Oh,
so
so
that
it's not showing my screen. It's showing the as if it's in um, non-presentation mode.
yeah, it's showing kind of the controls.
Okay. If this works for you, then we still can proceed. It just won't be as perfect because I'm seeing just the full screen.
Yeah, I think it's counting the Zoom share as a second screen for you. Um,
Okay.
I wish I was a little bit more tech savvy to be able to fix that. So,
There's a show webinar. I mean, is that a button on the top?
um, I think for now, this will do. This will do.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you very much. Hey, what kind of presentation is it without some technical issues? But I think it'll be worth your time. My name's Scott Whaley, and I appreciate you showing up. And first of all, I want to say thank you to Carl Fisher, friend, because in the past he's sort of seen this and seen the potential. And he said, "Yeah, and whenever you roll it out." And he saw it and he said, not an endorsement, but he said, yeah, that concept would be a great idea. And for those of you who out there who are private lenders already, this presentation is going to be very short, but ideally it will target you as a private lending investor. If you're a borrower, it's going to be great, but we're going to assume a certain amount of knowledge there um, in the real estate industry and in private lending. And I also want to give you a heads up. You guys are the first. So you're beta testers. And when you go to this app, it's free. You can sign up, use it to your heart's content. We're going to give you expanded benefits for being beta testers. And all I ask is that, you contact me, let me know. I will do personalized service for the people on this webinar and people from Camaplan because I'm very grateful that you would give us feedback. And, you see things that are wrong, just realize we are in soft launch mode and, but it will work. And one last piece is that because this platform is designed to be two-sided, in other words, it's for the borrowers and the lenders, is that lenders come first. So when you're putting your programs and things, we'll go over it, but there will be a population of lenders first before borrowers know that, hey, we can come here and we can find the best match for us. So without further ado, then I will go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is an end-to-end solution. And by that, it is to make it easy for you to create your own loan programs. Not only create them, but then it will put them in the database that's searchable by borrowers and they can find you. So in other words, you're not having to promote your stuff. You're not having to share it with people. And they know they have one place they can come to. And based upon the criteria, when you see our search fields, they can find you and you can customize to a very granular point your loan programs, put them on there, get found, and only see people that have been matched. And you also can do it anonymously. So you don't have your name isn't disclosed to the public. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry who says, hey, you got money here, let me talk you into a deal. Let's see. Overview. So the problems of a private lending investor, I think we all know. I'm a lender, by the way, past, I'll uh, uh, what do you call it? Confess that I was a mortgage broker and more traditional mortgage broker. And it's also being a real estate investor and also developer. And this is the genesis of this because I always knew there's tons of money out there waiting to be matched. And if they could find the deals, they would do the deal. And the flip side was for the borrowers, the same problem, but we can't find each other. So that's what my best loan match is. It's a match, it's a dating site, if you will, for lack of a better term, for borrowers and lenders. And there is no such site out there because one of the key elements of this, and we'll get into it a little bit more detail, but the competition, there is nobody out there who's going to promote and allow you to create loan programs and then allow people to search their database. It ain't going to happen. And so we do it and we do it for free. So that's the big advantage. When we say loan programs, we mean you create all the specs, all the criteria that you want to lend, the type of deal you want. And then when it's in an actual searchable form, somebody who has your type of deal can find you. And that's the only ones you'll see because those are the only ones who get to send you a request. And by the way, you're still anonymous personally. So it's only your loan program that's being promote it, which that is one of the biggest barriers that we got, just because we did study groups all around the country. And it was one of the big things for everybody that was a barrier to being private lending. Um, so you get to remain anonymous. And then when the deal shows up, you can either say, yes, let's meet, and you can disclose your identity, or you can say, nah, I don't like that deal. So you get to search through and you get to respond to those, and they come to you by text or email. And again, these are the people that only are fitting the criteria you selected. So if you don't want somebody who needs to close in 10 days, you won't get any loans where somebody's like, I'm desperate and I need to close in 10 days, in wherever your city is, let's say St. Louis. And there's a lot other criteria. Um, Also, because we're taking on the idea, you get to create your loan programs, we promote them, and we allow people to connect borrowers and lenders, and we are not the middleman. We have an app and we connect you, but we're not trying to control it so we can monetize that connection, which is, I was a mortgage broker. That's what every other site does. When they say they've got vetted, um, they say they got vetted users. What they really mean, what's part of it is that they're going to get paid. We might not get paid, and that's fine. This is a donation only site. In other words, make your deal, fund your deal, and if you don't want to pay anybody, you don't have to pay us. We would like you to pay us. We'd like to have a donation, but you don't have to. And then we're going to early benefits again. We're going to expand all the limits, like how many searches you can do, how many invites you can get, um, and the time frames on that, because uh, there are volume levels, and if you want to buy into those, it's like $100. So not really a whole uh, thing to worry about. So the market gap is, there's no solution in the market right now. There's not one place. If you're a borrower and you have an unusual deal, you can find a mortgage broker like I used to be, or you can go to a website, but there's no place where all the programs, and you can search through them to find out. Let's just say you had a mobile home you were trying to rehab in Clarksville, Tennessee. That just came to mind. So um, there's a lender out there for it, but how do you find them? Well, this allows you to do it in a few clicks. Um, that's the whole proposition there, is that there's one place, and we allow you to create those loan programs and then place them on there, make them public, and get found if you're a lender. Um, you won't see any deals that don't fit your criteria because you won't be displayed, or at least your loan program won't be displayed to someone who's not qualified. They get to do their searches. And if their search doesn't fit your criteria, your loan program will not come up in it. And we'll demonstrate these things, but I just want to hit on because of the time, if I walked you through the whole program, it would turn into hours. We automate the process. That was, in my experience, was that, and from talking to other people, creating your loan program, promoting your loan programs, getting displayed, and then having to deal with all the people who aren't a fit or who find you and then try to sell you on their deal. That's all, that's all in the past when you use my best loan match. Um, and then the borrowers, how do they find you? Problem is, if you did it the old way, is you bump into people and then they try to sell you um, on their deal because it's a great deal. They believe it's a great deal, and they're going to just try to talk you into it. And we just don't have the time anymore. And that's not the way a professional does it. It's not how they get a lot of deals. Every big lender has loan programs. That's at the bottom line is, what's the difference between individual private lenders and the big funds, or people like a Larry Goins, who's, a friend, and he's developed, and he's a fantastic lender, but he's huge. But if you talk to Larry, he's not going to say, like, just let's make a deal. He's going to say, this is my loan programs. And now you can do it even if you haven't done one loan. No controls. Go to any of the other sites, go to anybody else and say, I just want to search your database. I just want to see if any of your deals match, any of your lenders have loan programs that match me in my deals. And let me just search through it. That ain't going to happen. That's what you get to do here. So as far as the borrowers and the lenders, just say, well, I want to put it in there and I want to be searchable and found, but I don't really want to have you uh, getting between us. So you're going to see how that works. Upfront costs, like I said, it's free. We do ask for a quarter point at closing. And the key word there is ask. We ask for a donation. So we're like, somebody pass the hat kind of thing. It's a tip, donation, whatever you want to call it. If you don't pay us, that's fine. Nobody chases you. Nobody says you got to pay. Nobody says, hey, whatever. That's it. Because when we did, and then based upon the idea that, look, people are fair. In my judgment, most people. And we figured we would trust you up front because, like I said, most people are going like, wow, it's a great deal and a quarter of a point. On $100,000, that's like $250. Sure, not a problem. And if you don't want to pay, like I said, you just tell the closing agent, I don't want to pay. And I go, fine. Usability, this is open for everybody. This is to be automating the process so you can actually do private lending, you can do your real estate investing, and you can have a life, because that's the big advantage. Also, the bigger players, the funds, the big funds and the big companies they got staff, they got accounting, they got taxation, they've got marketing, and it closes that gap a huge amount. Does it perfectly match it? No, but it does get you the key parts, which is get you the marketing, get you the attraction, and you can filter through and get the deals that you want to see and nothing else. That is, at the bottom line, that's the big advantage that we offer you. It's one stop. So we promote this. And if you come, as long as you tell the truth, and if we find anyone who's, frankly, if anybody misrepresents anything, material misrepresentation, we're not going to get, technical. Whether you say you have a property under contract and it's not under contract, whether you own a property and you don't own it, or whether you uh, say you have the money and you don't do it, those people are banned. Pretty simple, because our credibility and our integrity and our word is our big advantage for all of us. So then the REI borrowers, okay, I've already mentioned that. The borrowers, when you come in, is when a borrower comes in, they just search the loan programs and they put in a whole list of criteria, which I'll show you in a moment, which is lots of criteria, and they whittle down till they find the very best matches. Ideally, if your loan program is one of those, then you're going to be on that list, and they're going to go ahead and send you what we call a funding invite. When they send you a funding invite, you can look at the deal first. Then if you respond, you can reveal who you are. You can say, okay, I'm going to say, okay, my name is, John Smith, and here's how to contact me. And you now can text each other and message each other. If you don't find that loan acceptable for whatever reason, because sometimes, not all the filters cover all the situations, you can still say no and decline it, and they never know who you are personally. So they can't come after you. They can't, like, knock on your door. And you'll see how that's worked. And when you say truly transformative, if there's another place where somebody can do this, please let me know. But we've looked at most of the searches out there, and there are people who say, well, they have vetted people and they have all the people, and none of them are geared towards the individual private lending investor. So, product benefits, okay. I think we already mentioned it's free. No one else gives you the controls. We give you the controls over the private lending side of it, and the borrower also has controls. The person who doesn't have the controls is us. We control the platform and and making it and facilitating that connection without. Basically, we're like, as much as we could be like Airbnb is for, people who rent and people who own those properties. Um, that would be a decent metaphor. But again, we're promoting the site and the idea that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of loan programs once it gets populated. And at that point, um, the volume, and that will be I just want to point that out for people, is until when people come and do a search, ideally, there'll be a loan program that meets anything you could dream of. It was created specifically to meet this market because, as president of National REIA and also as a lender, I saw tons of deals that were good deals and they couldn't find the money, but I knew the money was out there. But because there was no structured way to find that right person, to find that right, the person who would do that deal or who would understand that deal or could react that fast in that market, so many deals died. Even deals that were really no-brainers, but all of a sudden, for whatever reason, the existing lender pulled out and nobody could react in 3 minutes or 3 days. And yet there's people who will do a 3-day close. Now they're probably local and they're probably in a escrow company, but they'll do the deal. But you got to find them and contact them. Um, Again, we're putting the controls in the lenders and the borrower's control. We'll show you that. This was designed by REI borrowers and private lenders. In other words, we balance it. It's not to one person's degree or the other. You can't shop your loans. In other words, once you decide this is my lender, you can't keep going for better and better deals. So we protect the lender. Um, by the way, there's no more selling or qualifying. If the person that sends you a funding invite, what we call funding invite, they're not going to be able to say it because it met your criteria. It should just be a matter of, yeah, your deal matches exactly my loan program. Let's just verify everything and close. There's no like, hey, you don't understand. It's such a great deal. And they try to get you to change. No, because they didn't match. Um, Individuals now compete on an equal playing field with funds and big businesses. They have salespeople. They have great marketing programs. You don't need that. You need to create loan programs, test those loan programs, let us put it out there in the database, attract the borrowers, and they can send you invites that meet your criteria. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. I'm kind of repeating myself. Um, there's traditional marketing, and then there's my best loan match. Enough said. I mean, that's, bumping into people or hoping people bump into you. I always, that was why we created that. That was crazy in our mind. Anonymous posting, you don't want people identifying who you are and that you got a lot of money, because we both know that won't work out very well. So that's why we say loan programs. You don't really want a lender. You want the loan program that fits you and your deal. The only reason we have people running around saying that you don't want a lender is because the big lenders are all essentially promoting and selling generic money. And that's your big advantage. You can make it you can have very specific, very niche programs and make a lot of money by our terms as individuals, maybe not by the terms of, you know, Citigroup. Um, you have a unique competitive advantage because you can create it just by your loan program. You can, and I won't go into that, but we can go later. Um, Automatically, you define your criteria and guidelines. The search program makes sure that the only invites, what we call a funding invite, you're you get only those. You don't get anything else. And most people, because people don't have time to waste anymore. The connection, you either get a text message or you get an email, or you get both, a text message and an email alerting you that you've got a deal that matched and you received a funding invite. So, I mean, that's, we made it as simple and hassle-free as possible. And as our community grows, we're very big on the idea that all this knowledge that is not being shared, it's not being taken advantage of, and we're not collaborating, not because we won't do it or we would, it's not in our interest. It's just that there's been no platform. So we're creating our community with it. And that's the place where experts, you can share your experiences, share your knowledge, and collaborate with others. As we get our AI going and our database is going, we believe that that was one of the things, the knowledge is out there, but there is no way to go and access it easily. And so that's what we're building in as well. It's not yet built out. So the peer-to-peer experience, um, it's proven itself in all other industries. It's time for us to get into on that trend as well. And let's see how it works. So why don't I just say, so Scott, what does it look like? We already mentioned the cost. It's a quarter of a point payable at closing if you choose to. If you don't, all you say is, I don't want to pay. That's it. This, I just wanted to show you the loan program. When you go to the site, My Best Loan Match, this is a loan program. When you create your loan program, you can see this real quickly. Lots of fields. And this is how you make it so specific. You can create these and test these and put them out there, see if you get any action, see if people find you. And the common metrics, things that most of us have seen, loan amount, LTV, if it's a rehab loan, these change dynamically. So you'll get an ARV field if it's a rehab loan, and there's no ARV, obviously, if there's no rehab. And I'm using lingo that I think you probably most are aware of. If you go to the My Best Loan Match site, this is what the borrower looks like. And so they just put in their criteria and it shows the number of matches up here. And they go through this, and with each criteria, they whittle down to the final total number of matches. And at the end, they just click show me my money matches. And those are the loan programs that match their deal. And in location, type of property, purpose of loan, subtypes, loan amounts, etc. And then they send you the funding invite. And that's the next thing. This is what you will receive. So this is the creme de la creme, if you will, of what we offer you, uh, is when this matches your criteria, you're going to get, none of this is filled out, obviously, well, a few filled out, but here's the property. They put in their address. It shows in here. Here's a map. Here is some of the basics on it if they filled it in correctly. And this is what you receive, an invite. It's what's called a funding invite. You get to review this, and you also get to look at the profile of the borrower. And then, and only then, can you say, yeah, I accept your invite. Let's do, let's proceed. It doesn't mean you're going to close the deal, but it says, let's proceed as if we're going to close it. And then you verify all the information. If you, for some reason, like, you know what, I was on that street one time, I do not want to do that thing in that area over here. You can decline it right off the bat, but this is what you're getting in your inbox for free, instantaneously. And the borrower gets to send out 3 of these, no more than 3, because these are highly vetted, highly specific, highly targeted. So they shouldn't need more than 3 lenders. And they get to choose from among those 3. And that's it. Join the launch. See, the perks are, the biggest perk I can promise you is that because you're a member of Camaplan, and also because you're one of the early adopters, is we need your participation and feedback. And everything won't work perfectly, but when you get in and you put your loan programs in, if you find things that aren't working, you can go ahead and email me. You can get my contact. Well, you'll have my phone number, and we're going to fix it for you. We're going to make it work better. We're going to make it work as good as possible. And because our best success is going to be you closing some deals. I mean, that's kind of common sense, you would think, but not everybody seems to get that we are totally aligned. And so you will have my personal contact information, and I will do personal demonstrations if you want to do deep dives. If you go to mybestloanmatch.com, and you can get started today, you can sign up for free, My Best Loan Match. And one last piece is, make sure when you start, you'll create a borrower account and a lender account, because you'll need your borrower account to test things. And so go there, create your accounts, and then you can reach out to me if you are confused, or if something's not working, or something needs to be improved. Just let me know. I have no problem. We'll just schedule a time and I can walk you through whatever it is. And there you have it. And boy, that seems like it's a lot of information. And this was geared towards you as a private lending investor. So you might be some borrowers out there, but let me know what we can do to help. And let's see, is that there's my contact information. There's the site. And William, are you
Ye-
there?
Yes, I am. Great presentation. And seems like it's now time to take some questions. I hope a lot of people have questions.
I
Um,
hope so.
Please feel free to use the chat or Q&A function on your screen to ask questions to Scott while we have his very valuable time. Again, I say this all the time. Any questions that you may be thinking and hesitating about asking, likely somebody else has the same question, or somebody watching the recording later may have the same question. So you're doing a good service by getting them out now. Or of course, you can always contact Scott later if something pops up.
Absolutely.
All right, we have our first question. Nate wants to know where do they sign up again?
My Best Loan Match right there. Are you guys seeing my screen, or did we switch off?
We can still see your screen.
Okay, so mybestloanmatch.com, and you can actually do the search for free. It will require, if you're not already signed in or a member, you'll see, like, for instance, you can do your searches and play with those. And, it might say you got 5 matches or 2 matches or one, and then it'll require you to sign in. And if you don't have a sign in account, then, because you're an already member, then you'll have to create an account, but it is free. So,
Perfect. Thanks. We have another question coming in. Barbara wants to know, how long have you been doing this?
uh, well, if this means developing the software, 10 years. If lending and real estate, it's been 30 years. So I know real estate pretty well from both sides. And then also being president of National RIA was, that's part of what the genesis was. I saw the borrowers, I saw the lenders, I saw the private lenders. And so hopefully that gives you, and I saw, and we did actually, we went around and we asked people, because no matter who you are, you think, so we had to get feedback from focus groups, from the RIAs, actually, national RIA groups. And that was what we got from the private lending community as well as the borrowers. But thank you for asking, Barbara.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the answer. Thanks for the question. Another question comes in from Robert. He asks, is your service proprietary?
I hope nobody else is doing it. Um, our software is, I guess somebody could go try to copy it, but I will tell you, it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to do, because the rules are built in a way that protects both sides of the equation. We could go on about if you're a borrower or a lender, it's optimized for both parties. So I don't know if that answers the question. Is Robert, does that the proprietary part? Because if you think in terms of open source, every borrower can use it, every lender can use it, as long as you do one thing: you don't get caught misrepresenting facts. If anybody misrepresents, it's, and the thing is, you got to represent the party. You got to say what you're representing. So it'll be kind of hard to be sneaky.
Perfect. If Robert has any follow-ups to that question, please feel free to post them again. Um,
Robert, you can't copy my software. Or please don't. Let me say it that way. I'm not going to say can't with AI these days.
we have a compliment coming in from Kathy saying that this sounds great, and she's thanking you for the presentation and the information.
Thank you,
Any,
Kathy.
any more questions coming in for Scott while we have him?
But I'd like to reiterate again, because threw a ton of words at everyone here. And it's not like, when you automate such there is a complex flow of steps that's required to be a private lending investor. And so to encapsulate that, I think the truth is you're going to have to go in there and dive in. And then, but if you reach out to me and you want to schedule a Zoom call, I would love to meet you. I would love to find out where we screwed up, or where things are not going perfectly, or we'll just hold your hand if you'd like that. Um, because at this stage of the game, and we're not going to be able to do that forever, but for you guys here, it'll be great. So you have my contact information, and we can
Perfect.
schedule a Zoom call or whatever you want.
Yeah, Steven says he's looking forward to using it. Um, sounds great. It looks like questions are winding down. So, unless
Okay.
any more questions come in at the moment, I do highly recommend reaching out to Scott with the contact information on your screen if you have any questions, or it sounds like if you want to do a Zoom call, he's willing to do a Zoom call as well. And if you have any questions about how this applies to your self-directed IRA, a CAMA plan, or how you could use it, please give us a call. I'm always happy to speak with anybody. And
And
I'm gonna go ahead,
well,
Scott.
yeah, well, I just want to preface it again, mention it really quickly, is it's sort of like, Uber when they had their first 10 drivers. So wasn't like they could provide there is going to be a lag time. So I just want to prepare people that when you create your specialized, customized loan programs, um, just don't, be patient, I guess is what I'm going to ask, because as more and more people use it, we'll have more and more people doing private lending here, and the other private lenders will find out about it. And then we have thousands and thousands and thousands of loan programs that fit and that, so now the utility is there, right? So that is kind of the lag effect. So I wanted to let people know when you're putting your loan programs in. But the great thing is it will help you structure your loan programs, even if you're doing them outside the program, even if you're doing, outside the platform, that's fine. Good for you, and we encourage you to do that. So just know that, and then we'll be doing our best to attract borrowers. And there might be borrowers here on the site, people who are like rolling out of existing loans. So uh, just wanted to make sure I get the expectations perfect. And the one thing you can expect is our support and my support.
Perfect. Really exciting stuff, Scott. Thanks for the disclosure. Thanks for all the information. Up before just in time.
One more
Uh,
question
one more question came in at the buzzer. Now we have two questions. All right, everybody has
at
to
the
ask
buzzer.
questions now. um, George asks, "Do you advertise this software?"
No, when I say this is the first, literally, and again, when I say thank you, Carl, it's not boilerplate. He has been patient because we were rolling this out 2 years in a row and finally is ready, we believe. So it's brand new. For those of you out there, this is first exposure. Really, you can say I was there for it. I think we posted once in LinkedIn like 4 days ago, but that's it. We have done no advert, and we are going to, but we're kind of a flat organization. So, we're going to start producing, the videos and et cetera. But we had to make sure the thing worked. So you really are the first.
Wow,
Not kidding.
that's amazing. You heard it here first. Um,
Exactly.
I,
What,
I
what a cliche.
I guess this sort of builds off the last question, but Robert also asks, how are you going to market your service to accelerate participation of lenders or borrowers?
Um, I mean, it's a great question. Probably should have spent more time, but one of the things is with our connections with other lenders, title companies, et cetera, um, and because we are not charging a fee, we think that as we promote it and put out more materials, YouTube, et cetera, um, we think it will be what do you call it? Uh, Organic. Um, because the other thing is I didn't get into it. Once you go there, there's going to be a place for title companies, all the service providers, agents can come here and look for loans for their buyers or sellers. Um, we have the utility is there. And so, yeah, if we had a big marketing crew and if I had the money and time but we don't. It's just to be straightforward. So hopefully it'll be, and I think the last piece is because it is a unique product and everybody says that, oh, this is like nothing else out there. Um, if you have seen something out there that does what we do, I'd love to know about it. But we truly believe it will be a unique solution. So hopefully that will solve the problem because I mean it's a good point. You got to get the word out, and uh, but we also think it'll be in the interest of every member to promote it because the more activity, the more users, the more money everybody makes, and the more knowledge we get to share and resources too.
Absolutely. Thanks for being candid about that. And even Kathy says word of mouth works. So,
I
um,
hope so.
all right. I'm excited to see where this goes, and I might personally, I might sign up myself and check it out. So
Oh,
I'm very
say
excited.
no, Will. Come on.
You sold me. You sold me. All right. Thank you again, Scott. Thank you everybody who
Thank
attended
you,
live.
everyone, for your time, and I look forward to helping you.
Absolutely. And thanks anybody to who is watching this recording in the future. I hope everybody enjoys and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.